Today, going to go ahead and replace the valve cover that's on this thing. I've had a diesel valve cover billet for this sitting around for like a year now, so I'm going to go ahead and get that installed. It's a custom engraved XDP Racing valve cover. My buddy had it sitting around, so scooped this up from, like I said, probably about a year ago and just never installed it. And then I got all the fittings and the hose from Evil Energy. For now, I'm not going to do a catch can, just going to run these down into the frame, pop these on. Should be pretty easy. First thing I'm going to do with this is hit it with a quick hand polish. Again, it's been sitting around and pretty dirty, so just going to use some of the wheel polish from Renegade, see how it comes out. It's hard to tell, but it cleaned up pretty nicely. And I already got these fittings in here, not tightened up though, so I'll get that all tightened up. Start off, get these 8 mils out of here, get some stuff unplugged. This should pull right off. And then once you get these 6 8 mils out, this top cover will pop off right here. Dropped one, but I found it. And this back one has like a stud on the top that has the wiring harness kind of hooked to it. So try and get that popped off and then get that last bolt out to get this first piece off here. There's that. Got that out of there. Move the wrench. Take the oil cap off. And it's a slide off here. Just got to unhook this harness in the back. Which has one of those red safety clips on it. So I'm going to grab something to pull that off and then yeah, get that disconnected, take the filter out, and then get the actual valve cover off here. Alright, so I got the red safety clip undone. It should pull right off. Maybe. Hard to do one-handed. Yeah, actually pretty clean. So on the valve cover itself, there are, I believe, there are 10 mils, and there's 6 of them. So 2, 2, and then 2 tucked way in the back there. So got the front four all loosened up. Those back two are going to be a little bit of a pain to get to, but we'll get them out of there. Before I go ripping everything off, get this harness unplugged here. Just that. These ones are going to be tough. I think I'm going to actually use a wrench to get in there. I think that'll be a little bit easier. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work either. Be tidy.
Why is this just like... I feel like it's just not even rotating. This isn't clicking.
Perfect form. Alright, so now that the back two bolts are out, that absolutely kicked my butt. 6 bolts are out of the valve cover. I got to figure out what else is hooked to this. I know I have a block off plate that goes somewhere down there. So wish me luck. I think it's wherever this hose goes. It's right next to the intake here. So I'll trace that down, unhook it, and then should be able to pull this off. Also looks like another harness plugged in here. Should be able to get a screwdriver in there and pop that out. There's that. To be honest, I have no idea what that is. Alright, so I got the 2 lines disconnected from the valve cover. Think I got everything unplugged, so this should pop off now. Maybe, maybe not. There we go. We're out. From the looks of it, I didn't have to undo that one plug there, so I'll get that plugged back in. But get this new valve cover on, and then trace those other lines down. And like I said, I have a block off plate to take those off and put the plate in its place. While the valve cover's off, it's always a good idea just to check some things out. Yeah, just make sure everything's looking clean, everything's looking good, and then pop the new one on. Well, that might be a problem. I think that back one's going to have to come off and then go back on once the valve cover's installed. We'll see if that fits. So there it is, all tucked back. I'm going to make sure it's sitting in that rubber seat all the way around. Then start bolting it down. I believe there are 18 foot-pounds on the 6 bolts that hold it on. Beans was kind enough to send me a bolt kit to get this installed. So start popping these on. Like I said, I think it's 18 foot-pounds for the valve cover. The back, see if I can get this off here real quick. So obviously I have this 90 for the front breather. The rear breather, the 90 I'd gotten is too tall and does not fit in there. So won't be getting that in today. Just going to cover it up. I just overnighted a shorter 90 that I should be able to fit on there, and then that'll wrap that up and run those down into the frame. But for now, get the 6 bolts into the valve cover, get those torqued down, and at least run this one. See where those other hoses go to down on the bottom of the block, I believe, and get that block off plate on there. Also, on the Beans valve cover, stock cap does fit. Don't mind my sniffling. This pollen is killing me. Get this last one started, and then I'm going to start in the middle of the cover, get them all the way down, and start torquing them. Get those 2 in the back, and then pull the torque wrench out, get them all torqued down. If anyone has a better way of doing these back too, feel free to share. Gonna see if I have a smaller torque wrench for the rear. Alright, all those are all torqued down. So now I can trace those other hoses down, put the block off plate on, run the hose that I'm gonna vent off of that 90 down to the frame, and then wait until tomorrow to get that other 90 on there and vent that side. So currently sitting up in the wheel well, trace those hoses down. It's right above the PCM. There's 2 10 mil bolts, and then one of the main wires or chunks of wires coming off of the PCM is hooked to it. So I think that's a 13 or a 14 mil up there. I'm going to get that unbolted, pull that off, and then put the block off in. I like working on the first gen a lot better. Not so much stupid stuff. I don't think so. Well, I hope it's tight. Yeah, I think we're good. The block off is the XD 469. It says it doesn't fit the newer trucks, but it does in fact fit. And after about 30 different fittings, I finally got one that fits underneath there. Tighten something or other. Now we're all done.